here we go. Hang on to your hats. Three buddies were talking about death and dying. Nice way to start. One asked, when you're in the casket and your friends and family are mourning you, what would you like to hear them say about you? The first guy said, I like to hear them say that I was a great doctor of my time and a great family man. The second man says, I would like to hear that I was a wonderful husband and school teacher who made a huge difference in our children of tomorrow. The last guy says, I'd like to hear them say, look, he's moving. A minister told his congregation, next week I plan to preach about the sin of lying. To help you understand my sermon, I want you to all read Mark 17. The following Sunday, as he prepared to deliver his sermon, the minister asked for a show of hands. He wanted to know how many had read Mark 17. Every hand went up. This minister smiled and said, Mark has only 16 chapters. I will now proceed with my sermon on the sin of lying. This is sort of not good, but oh well. A man isn't feeling well, so he goes to see his doctor. The doctor examines him and then asks to speak with his wife. The doctor tells his wife that her husband has cancer. The wife asks, can he be cured? The doctor replies, well, there's a chance we can cure him with chemotherapy, but you'll need to take care of him every day for the next year, cooking all the meals, cleaning up the vomit, changing the bedpan, driving him to the hospital for daily treatments, and so on. When the wife comes out of the waiting room, the husband asks her what the doctor said. The wife answers, he says that you're going to die. Jonathan Katz. In hotel rooms, I worry. I can't be the only guy who sits on the furniture naked. This is a trippy one. This is supposedly an accurate quote from the Reverend Billy Graham, who maybe you know, is a big-time evangelist in the U.S. The Reverend Billy Graham tells of a time early in his ministry when he arrived in a small town to preach a sermon. Wanting to mail a letter, he asked a young boy where the post office was. When the boy had told him, Dr. Graham thanked him and said, if you'll come to the church this evening, you can hear me telling everyone how to get to heaven. I don't think I'll be there, said the boy. You don't even know how to find the post office. We're done? Okay. I usually have one. What's my... I like this, Johnny Carson. If life were fair, Elvis would still be alive today and all the personators would be dead. Today's meditation is going to be led by Karuna.
How easy it is to connect with the life of the Spirit when we are among nature. All we have to do is look and listen. During my meditation today, I will make intentional pauses where you can take the opportunity to connect to that inner dimension by the sounds of nature. Today, in many parts of the world, the Christian community is celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is the biggest, the most important Christian celebration of the calendar. Many of us who have chosen to believe in the life of the spirit and the inner experience of God can use this opportunity of this celebration to renew, to revitalize, to reinvent a part of our life and get more juice out of it. I would like to stress the importance of inner peace and make a call to awareness of how easily we lose our inner peace. Even small things like they make us wait and you begin grumbling, this shouldn't be happening, what's the matter with these people? And there it goes, there goes your inner peace. So observe the mechanism of how easily we are prone to losing the most valuable thing we have, which is this inner sense of peacefulness. So first you grumble because the traffic, or because your partner is being late, or because you cannot find a parking space. Slight irritation arises. The thought comes, and then you begin building a story around it. And then you've lost it. And you can go on and on and on. And this is perfectly normal for all of us. It's part of everyday life. It's part of being human. But by becoming aware of what is happening, especially when it is happening, we can have a beginning of awakening. It is easier to realize, it happened to me after it has passed, because the energy is less intense. This is a call then to realize that the most important thing that we have is our inner peace, and that be aware not to give it up for all these little things that happen in life. So next time you lose a little unimportant thing, or you're a bit late for an appointment, observe yourself, observe the irritation, and try to stop the thought that comes. Because from there you can continue even hooking up to other situations in your life that make you angry, and from there you go on and on. Be the ever-eternal, alert guardian of your own inner peace.
This week's presentation, Beating Breast Cancer Without Surgery, Chemo, or Radiation, by Cheryl Malin. The diagnosis of cancer brings with it the horror of being subjected to terrifying surgeries, radiation, and chemotherapy, all of which can have side effects as bad or as worse as the disease itself. When Cheryl was diagnosed with breast cancer, she and her husband went to the internet and discovered highly effective alternative treatments being used in Europe and in Mexico. This is the story of how Cheryl, today she's going to present her story, how she beat breast cancer without surgery, chemo, or radiation. It is one woman's personal story and does not provide a template on which others should base their own life-saving decisions. We really want to enunciate or announce, what is it? What's the word? Emphasize. There we go. Emphasize this, that this is what Cheryl did, and we all have our own ways. And she says that it's important that we pay attention to our own bodies and what is true for us. Welcome, Cheryl.
Can I chicken out now? I have a little cold, so happy Easter, everyone, and I want to thank you all for coming on this day, and all people of Open Circle that are involved with Open Circle. Thank you very much for having me and allowing me. I have a couple other people that I would like to thank. First, my husband, because he's been an inspiration to me, helped me out quite a bit. And my doctors, who I invited to come from Tijuana to also speak out in behalf of what I did. And one responded back.
Saying that.
I hear you.
Hello, hello.
No, here's the microphone.
Oh, yeah, hold this and we'll try to fix it.
All right. Par for the course. He emailed me stating that he was sorry that he wouldn't be able to attend, that his son got in a car accident, which is 8 years old. Of course, he wasn't driving, somebody else was. But he injured his femur, fractured it, and had head injuries. So please keep them in prayer today. Okay, as you see, I'm all dressed up with color. My main thing is life is all about your journey. And that's what I wrote about in my book, about my journey. And it's about color. It's about everybody having a canvas. And they're painting on their canvas. And that's their journey, their life. And we all intertwine with each other in the masterpiece of your canvas. So this is what this is all based on. It's about cancer, but it's in light of joyful colors and upbeating and all that. Okay, I'm going to be reading some things from the book and talking about it. Okay, and the first thing from my book that I wanted to state, because it is my journey, is as I sit and conjure my thoughts, a question comes to mind. If you could have your cake and eat it too, would you? There are two sides to every coin, as there are to every story. But I can say my journey shared over these next pages shows an experience many of us share. There are dark moments and moments of inspiration. There is love, along with sheer terror. Tears stain these pages, showing the reviving energy of great joy and hope and education are what I am trying to provide. In the end, what is life without them? This writing is finding inspiration when it is lost. I am not a doctor, nor have the experience of one, but I am a survivor of cancer who fear for my life. This is not about what is right or wrong. It is about educating ourselves to make choices, along with awesome power of knowledge. Everyone should be given a choice, and it should be up to each of us to educate ourselves. With the internet today, it is easy to do research and discover alternative treatments and scientific approaches for treating and winning cancer. So first, we must believe that there is solutions that are possible. This is my personal story, and I choose to share it with you that may be aware that maybe somebody that has the same approach that I may have could see that there is hope out there. Okay, the book is much more than cancer. I'm doing fine with this. Can you all hear me? Hello, hello.
Hello.
It's all right. Okay. Is it on now? Okay. Thank you. It's great to have extractions, especially when you're nervous. You know? That's all right. My husband never does that. I thought a little humor, since we're talking about cancer. All right. My book is not just like they were talking about. It's not just about me not doing chemo, surgery or radiation. It's much more than that book is. It's about courage. It's about hope. It's about love. It's about faith. It's about fear. It's about attitude. It's about family. It's about healing. And it's about treatments and provisions and aftercare. Okay, when I went to the hospital to have my treatments, there was this lady that I met. She was Mexican. She went through the conventional way the previous time that she had cancer. She ended up getting cancer again. She's very young, in her 30s. I met her at the hospital. We became like this. And she had a website and was going to share everything with the Mexicans and here in Mexico in Spanish, and I was going to do it in English, and we were going to form a togetherness and speak together. Well, she passed on because she didn't have enough funds to continue the treatment. So I dedicated my book to her. And I'm also starting a fundraising thing for people that want to do something different, that don't have the money. There's money there for them because of her. So in the book, I wrote a poem about her. Anna full of spirit, Anna full of spirit, with a face that glows so bright, a light showing the way when darkness come. The one that gave the inspiration and united our going to conquer the world. Their energy continues glowing from heaven. Anna guides the doctors and me to spread the knowledge that made you so overwhelmed with love and enthusiasm. I honor today with the heart of passion and will keep the fire burning in Anna's name, shining like the stars. I am providing strength, Anna full of spirit. Now, I'm very emotional about all this, so I'm very passionate, so. Okay, another segment from the book is about color and tapestry and stuff, because I believe that life is full of art, and that's what I'm trying to bring today. Okay, our journey of life begins at birth, and each of us is different, which makes us unique. This is what is special and ours alone. The unique tapestry of individual gifts is the artwork we share, and ours as we link our inner world and our outer one. How we connect with ourselves will show a larger canvas of a globe we see and how connected we are spiritually to the universe of color. Okay, in the book it also shows and talks about cancer just doesn't affect the person that gets it. It affects the family, friends. I experienced cancer when I was very young. My dad died when I was 16. So when I found out I had it, I thought, oh, wait, what am I going to do? Because a lot of my family members on my dad's side all died of cancer. It's like almost every year we were going to a funeral. So I wanted to stop that course, and I wanted to try something different so that it would help my family know that there's other things out there, and it does work. It did for me. Okay, so in my book, I have a segment that says, health is wealth. Diagnosis of an illness brought a wide range of emotions and effects. In addition to my own disbelief and wonder, my husband and daughter attempted to come to grips with their own feelings. I tried to let them know I accepted it and it was all right. But it became clear that even though I was the one with the cancer, an entire unit would be changed of this. We decided to comfort this disease as a family, as a unit. We committed ourselves to a positive outcome, believing we would survive this challenge united. After going through this journey with me from the beginning, I wonder what my daughter might be feeling and asked her to consider sharing her thoughts so others may gain strength. So she did write something into my big book, and Kat was lovely enough to say it because I would be crying if I read it. So.
There is a drugstore on 7th Avenue in New York City with a huge sign that reads, "Health is wealth." I kept meaning to snap a picture. After all, money can only get you so far. 3 months ago, I returned to Tampa, Florida, thinking I was preparing for my next move to New York. They say that you don't know how to handle something until it happens to you. Sometimes it can alter your entire life. In this case, it altered many lives. When my family and I found out my mother had been diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, we were speechless. We were getting ready to go out to dinner to celebrate my 24th birthday. The phone call was placed on speaker, and we all heard the doctor at the same time. Later, while I was in the room, Mom came in to ask if I was ready to go with a smile on her face. I was sitting on the floor and grabbed hold of her leg and just broke down. To put into words any form of emotions would be impossible. The story, however, is one of belief, determination, and love that you may not agree with, but which you may understand. I remember when I was in elementary school, I would pray before I would go to bed, saying that I wanted my parents to live to be 300 years old, or calculate how old they would be if I was 100. I was not about to change my prayer. Days had passed, and it was time for me to pack up and go to New York. I was a wreck. I cried the entire night off and on, and was comforted with continuous hugs by my best friend. I didn't know what was next, nor what to do.
Thank you, Pat. Okay, with that, I have this saying that I just love. And for Easter, I didn't pass them out because I wasn't allowed to. But I have over there the sayings, they're little cards, and it's just a wonderful saying. So that's my Easter gift to everybody. It says, remember, there is no mistakes, just lessons in life. Love yourself and trust your choices. And remember, everything is possible. So there are over there, there's little cards. Okay, in the book, it also, so I'm stressing that we do have choices, but it's all about knowledge, and knowledge is power. We need to do our own research too, because it's our bodies. Okay, so, because I'm running late, I'm not going to go through a lot of the stuff, but I do want to start with my treatments, the type of treatments I've had, because I bet that's why a lot of people came to find out. Okay, so there are two types, integrative medicine and functional medicine. They're hand in hand. Okay, and what that is it's using scientific approaches, stuff that is happening now that a lot of us don't know that's happening, but going to the internet, you can do research and find out. Using that and ancient treatments, combining them together, okay? And also, the second phase of that, everybody has their own blueprint. We're not all the same. We're different. So they're treating you, not the symptom, but you. For example, my husband has stents. He also had cancer and did the treatment too. He had stents. He has 10 stents. And he also had the cancer. So what they do is they treat not just the cancer, but also his heart problem. So they combine the program to both. And it's just like diabetes. If you have diabetes, they would treat the diabetes and the cancer at the same time. So it's not just treating that one disease. So that's what integrative and functional medicine is. It's fixing the core. and not just the symptoms. Now, one thing I learned that I didn't know before is heat and oxygen kills cancer. Heat and oxygen kills cancer. So, the treatments that I had to do with heat and oxygen. Okay? Meantime, these treatments, I didn't lose my hair. I did have flu-like symptoms after some of them for about an hour. After that, I was fine. I would go, when I had my treatment, when I didn't have the different things that were going on, I was so sexy. I had a port. I got to do anything I wanted to do during the treatment. Okay. The first thing they do is they build you up because your immune system is low. That's why you got the illness. So they build you up with supplements. And that's about a week. They build you up. They give you vitamin C, Ferrero, Laetrile, all these different things to build you up. Then there's this procedure that they do. It's T cells, immune therapy. And what they do is they take your blood from you. They go to a lab, multiply the good T cells, okay, that's in your system. They separate your cells, some kind of scientific way, and then they multiply them, and then they stick them back in you. And now my doctor said it in a good way. He says, it's like putting an army in you, like a war, and that army is fighting all the bad cells, because there's more good cells now than bad. So that's one of the procedures they did. The other is hypothermia perfusion. Okay, and what that is, and you're awake for all this. You could be on the computer, your laptop, you could be watching TV, their TV, although there's all channels are Mexican, Spanish, but anyway. No, Tijuana. So anyway, with hypothermia, what they do there is because you have a port, because that's the only operation they do is put a port in, that's it. So, for convenience. So, what they do is they have two tubes to this pump. And they put one in one thing, and they pour it in the other. They slowly take your blood out. As they're taking the blood out, it's going into this pump. The pump is pumping, it's purifying the blood. It's also heating your blood to 109 Fahrenheit. Going back in you. This process is about an hour. You do about 3 times, while you're there. And when they do the T cells, they prick you, they stick you with your cells like 4 times. Another procedure that they do is sauna. They put you in a sauna. And to me, I have a website and stuff, but what they do is they put you, and you look like a turtle because it's like a case. And the only thing that's open is your head. Everything else is in this case. And it heats you up, it detoxes your body, and it heats your blood to 109 Fahrenheit. So those are the type of treatments that I had there. Okay? Also, people don't realize you can do the treatment, but there was a reason why you got cancer in the first place. So you need to, and a lot of the people that have chemo, radiation and stuff, the doctors don't tell them the aftercare. What can you do after the fact so it doesn't come back? So my doctor, the one that son just got in the car accident, he told me, you cannot change the environment around you, but you can change what you do in your home. So, one of the home programs that they have me, that I've been doing for 5 years now, is I eat all organic food, because I don't eat the ones with pesticides and GMOs, because that also causes, the upgrowth of maybe starting cancer again. Okay? Plus, I'm gluten-free. And I don't eat any processed sugar. The reason being is cancer feeds on sugar, processed sugar, and wheat. People don't realize wheat forms into sugar. So that's why I'm gluten-free. Now, I have this little saying, every 35 days your skin replaces itself. Your liver, about a month. Your body makes these new cells from your food you eat. So you literally are what you eat. Now, another thing is people don't realize products you put on your body. Okay? Because there's a lot out there now that they're now finding out that are cancer, So, it only takes 26 seconds for that absorbs into your skin. So that's very important too. People don't realize water. Water is very important, the pH level of the water. Okay? Other things that I've been doing now is I take supplements. Similar to what they gave me in the hospital. I continue to take those. I've been doing it for 5 years. I said to the doc, should I stop? He says, hey, it's working. Why stop? So that's what I'm still doing. I exercise. Exercise is very important. That doesn't mean that you have to physically exercise. I go to the Tuesday market. I walk from the Tuesday market to the Wednesday market. Our friend Dale walks with us. We have a good old time. We stop along the way. Meditation. We go on YouTube, and at night before we go to bed, we listen to trains going. We listen to rain. We listen to all kinds of things. And we make up stories, like we go on a train, we're going to China because he broke a disc. So we're going to get a China disc. So, we make up things and have fun. Nature. People don't realize nature is very good to be around. And prayer, of course. Hugging. They say you hug a tree, the energy from the tree. So those things are very important. Okay, now I'm going to say one more thing from the book, then I'm going to have him speak a little. Fear of the unknown. I like this, so that's why I'm reading it. It has a lot of message to it. It's possible, said pride. It's risky, said experience. It's pointless, said reason. Give it a try, whispered the heart. It's early in the morning, and this message came to me. I fear no more, for I managed the disease. I trusted my heart to find another way to treat my illness, other than cut, poison, and burn. I also realized without having this illness, I would have not met these amazing people that have taught me so much about life. And I would have never experienced Mexico and its culture. Through taking a detour in this road, I consumed better knowledge and tried to educate others on other ways to control cancer. So I believe that it's your choice, and I think that the insurance companies should pay for what you believe in, because it's all about your beliefs too. That's a illness too. During my journey, I have been sharing my personal healing process in hopes that maybe your heart is whispering to you, similar to mine. With the experience gained, I do not fear the unknown. I look past this and take each day with a grain of salt. The future may be complete with this experience that would not be impossible, for I took something bad and made it good. I reserve to follow our hearts and choose our own journey, but first we need to explore the unknown. Do the research and you will find that it is not pointless. Your mind will grow full of hope, and your travels may continue for many years. To finish, I must say, with your hearts, we can change our fear of the unknown and give promise to our future. Enjoy now, for this depends on you. I do have cards over there because I do starting a fundraising thing that I want to do, because I believe that everybody does have a choice, and if they want to do something and they don't have the money, they should be able to do it. And I also have a petition that I'm starting because I believe insurance companies should pay for alternative resources too. Okay, now I'm going to have my husband say something, and then I have one final word. Go ahead, hon. Oh,
Turn this thing on.
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
My name is Dan, and I got a little. Mine's very short, so I'll get back to her real quick. It's something I wrote because my wife was a blogger when she was in the hospital, so I figured, well, since I was now in the hospital myself and I had prostate cancer, I guess it's my turn to blog. So this is what I wrote. I have to admit, this is not something I thought I would ever be doing. But here I am blogging like my wife Sherry has been for the past 2 years. I had no idea it would only make sense, considering that she has reached out to the people of the world about her illness and what she went through. Why not one for the guys out there? Since I found out that I had prostate cancer, in case you did not notice from previous writings, I am the husband of the renowned blogger, and my name is Dan. I will start off in my writings with what my mother-in-law once stated to me about a year ago when I just turned 60. She said, Dan, it's only now going to get better for you. Time will be your friend, and you may begin to enjoy what we now call the golden years. Ah, yes, I can't wait. I wish to share a little poem about that, since I'm now living them and experiencing what to expect. I hope you relish my thoughts about the golden years, and until my next post. The golden years are here at last. I cannot see. I cannot pee. I cannot chew. My memory shrinks, and now my hearing stinks. My sense of smell, hell, I look like hell. Yes, the golden years have come, and now only time will tell.
see, you can be humorous and still have cancer. Although I'm now 5 years I'm managing my cancer. Now, when I say managing, most people say they're in remission or they're cured. You're never. You can always get it because there was a reason, and it's the reason why you got it the first time. It could come back. That's why I always use prevention, and that's why I do my home program, and I've been doing it for 5 years, and I've been clear of cancer for 5 years. He's been for 3 years. Okay, my final words. First and foremost, I give hope that there are other ways to treat cancer without surgery, chemo, and radiation. Now, I'm not saying that that's wrong, but there are things out there, and it should be the individual person's choice. And that's what this is all about, choice. I am living proof of doing a treatment outside the box. And I had managed my cancer. I decided to keep a journal on my journey through this disease, cancer, until the end, however it turns out. At first, I did not know what the outcome would be. So I also took a chance on day-by-day postings. I had a blog. So when I was in the hospital, I did blogs. When he was in the hospital, I did videos. So if you go on my website, you'll see his videos of him actually having the treatments and talking while he's having the treatments. Okay. So I want to give others a way to relate to cancer and also live a happier life. Through this book, I have been very honest and true to my decision and life choice that I have made. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer 5 years ago, I was scared and felt all alone. I had to do a lot of research along with my husband. Throughout the years, I have gathered a lot of information. So in back of my book, I have several pages of websites that I've gotten throughout the years of other things besides of what I did, and how to, keep up with preventions and stuff like that. Okay. The last but not least, give yourself every chance. It's never too late. We are totally different. There will never be another you. And so make sure you live your life to the fullest. Yesterday's actions are history. You cannot change them, but remember, there is always today. You can still reach for your dreams. Give yourself every chance. Make use of your assets. Stretch out your soul. Follow your heart and go with your gut. Thank you.
That was pretty wonderful.
Very informative. By the way, she and her husband are going to be over at the Nueva Posada. They have their books with them, so you can ask questions, get a signed book, have breakfast, whatever you'd like to do. We're going to do questions now. So what we'd like is more questions than comments, so we can find out more of what Cheryl has to say. And a mic will be brought to you. Leslie will show you how it's done. Hold the mic close.
Hold it right up to your mouth.
That's right.
I'd just like to know, what is the name of the hospital you went to in TOM?
Ah.
Angela's Hospital. Angela's Hospital, which there are 27 of them here in Mexico. Yes.
And it is.
But in Tijuana. Okay, but the two doctors that I had, they're actually split up now, and one does it as outpatient, and the other one does it still as an inpatient. So,
There's a lot of changes going about.
Who else?
I do have newspaper articles over there that last year was in the Guadalajara Reporter, and it does talk about the hospital, and it talks about the treatments, and even the cost.
Over here?
Yes.
Yeah, just a question on the treatment that you took in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Do they give you any kind of statistics of how many people were actually successful with the treatment?
Yes.
And how many people were not?
Yes. Well, it depends now. Okay? If you had chemo or radiation prior, and then you go and have the treatment, it takes a little longer for the treatments, so you may have to continue the treatments. I never had anything before I went there. They say between 75% of breast cancer victims make it through.
Over here.
Good morning, and congratulations on being cancer-free for
That's for 3 years.
5 years.
For 3.
You're for 3, but you're
If
for
you
5.
make it past 3 years, you're
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. You're advocating that we do our research on the internet,
Right.
and I'm a little suspicious about the information I read on the internet. I'm not sure that I would be qualified.
Well, no, because if you go on the internet and you see something, for example, my doctor will talk to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no. I'm sorry.
But that's what my husband always says. I never wait until he's finished me.
I'm sure from your research, you know that about spontaneous tumor regression, and that breast cancer has one of the highest rates on common cancers of spontaneous tumor regression. Studies put it as high as 20%, which means that without any treatment whatsoever, 1 in 5 women will survive breast cancer, which also means 4 out of 5 will not survive breast cancer. Obviously those 4 women are not here today to tell their story. But how do you know, or how could you know whether your decisions and your remedy were responsible for your survival, rather than the statistical favoring of 1 in 5 undergoing spontaneous tumor regression?
Okay, first of all, now this is just my belief and how I feel. Everybody else has their own beliefs and feelings. I believe through your research and stuff, okay, your heart and your mind is telling you what you want to do for yourself, okay? And I believe if you make that choice and that decision, if you follow it to the end and you continue to do that, anything is possible, and I believe it will work. Chemo and radiation for number 1. You know, there's a lot of people that die, but there's some people that make it because they have power, they believe that that is going to work.
A lot up here, folks.
You know, so I truly believe it's, to me, and I didn't point it out, which I did because I had to take it out because I only had 30 minutes, but it's about quality of life. I think it depends on what you feel quality of life is and what you want to do with your life.
To just add to the gentleman who just said, what kind of cancer did you have? There are so many. Some of them will go away by themselves. Others will grow very, very fast. Others do not respond to any treatment. So what was the cancer you had?
Mine was very
I want the
Can you
name.
get your mic closer?
I would like the name.
Okay, I had stage 2. It was in my nose, so it was spreading.
The name.
It was estrogen.
No, the name of the cancer.
She wants the name of the cancer.
You look for hyperglycemia or whatever it is. We don't know the name off the top of
You should
our head.
know
The only thing
that.
we remember is our doctor told us that
That's
day
what she should
that
know.
her cancer was very aggressive. And it happened right around Christmas Eve. That's when we seen her. So he said, well, we have to get it done right now. So, but I don't remember the name of it. Scientifically, that's what he told me.
Okay.
I know I have
Yes,
reports,
I want
so
to-
if you are interested and very determined to know, you can give me your name and your email, and I'll be glad to send you the information.
And over here?
Do you by any chance know where they do pinking in Mexico? When they take your blood out, put it under infrared light, and put it back in you to do the invigorating?
And I really couldn't tell you, but I'm sure that if you go to the internet, everything's on the internet.
I haven't heard of it.
You haven't found it on the
Come to
internet?
Mexico to find out.
Well, I can give you my doctor's name, and you can call him up, and I'm sure he can give you or direct you to it if he knows.
It's available in Africa, but I'm not there.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware.
Thank you.
Hi. I just saw a program on 60 Minutes about a year ago, and it has to do with getting the immune system to recognize the cancer cells as foreign, which it doesn't normally do. And they showed this a case, and it had happened to several others at that time, where a very aggressive form of brain cancer left somebody with about 3 weeks to live. And what they did, they injected poliomyelitis serum into it, and not only did the immune system attack the poliomyelitis serum, which are weak in germs, I guess, it also attacked the tumor. It was eradicated fairly quickly. And they had repeated this several times, and when the program was made, I've never heard anything about it since. I'm just wondering if you've run across this.
The problem is the type of treatments we had has been being done in Europe and here in Mexico for many years. So it's not something that they just started. In the States, they do a lot of trials of different things. They don't know quite yet what the side effects would be, so they don't announce these things. They're only trials for people that have gone through chemo, radiation stuff, and only have 3 months to live. So they say, oh, we'll try this on you. And so that's what they do. Now, for what I'm doing, they're doing trials in the U.S. too but they're doing it different ways. They're not doing it the way that I did it. So I get kind of frustrated when I hear people, they say, oh, I had this done just like you. And I says, well, how did you have it done? And it wasn't like what I had done, because they don't get together, the different countries, and figure out, okay, let's do it this way and see if it works and stuff. Everybody does everything individually.
Can I say something here? I do want to mention, about 2 months ago, there was a show on CNN News. Sanjay Gupta was the MC. You might have heard of him, watched him. And it was about a woman who had cancer and really was in a bad shape. And she tried chemo, she did this and that. And so anyway, it was concerning her, and they did a program on it. And I kept looking and looking, and I said, boy, this is very similar to what we did 5 years ago. You know? So, you know, here in Mexico, they're a little more progressive about various modes. And I would say the FDA of Mexico allows certain doctors to do certain things. And if you're willing to have an open mind to look and do it, they are willing to do it for you. And so that's kind of how it works here.
Question over here.
By the way, she turned out just fine.
Over here in the back.
Hi, thank you for your talk. It was very informative. I wanted to ask you, your treatments were in Tijuana, and I would like to ask you what the nationalities of your doctors were and what their education was. Were they MDs? And if they had specialties, what those specialties were.
Okay, they were Spanish, they were Mexican, and I don't speak Spanish, which I should learn because I've been here 3 years, but I don't speak Spanish, and so, but it wasn't hard because they spoke English, and if the nurses didn't speak, they would get somebody that would, so we've never had any difficulties with that. As far as the education of the doctors, they went to school from all over. They went to China, they've been to, Europe, and they got their degrees in functional medicine.
Were they medical doctors? Were they MDs?
Yes.
Yes. But they specialized in functional medicine, not just, treating just the disease. They treated the whole body.
One doctor we had, by the way, his parents were doctors, both of them. He grew up in a doctor environment. But he wanted to do something a little bit different than what his father and mother did. So that's how he started this program. And that's how it turned. He was the first one to begin it in Tijuana.
We've only have time for one more question then.
But we'll be over at the restaurant, so if you have any questions, I'm very honest and open. So.
This question is for Darren.
Yeah.
What kind of cancer treatment did you go through, and are you considered cancer-free?
Well, I had very similar treatment that she had, basically. It's the same thing. There was a program that I did do, which was called prosthetic. And actually, sorry to pronounce that word, but in actuality, they have it in the U.S. However, in the U.S., you have to be stage 4 or stage 5, how many stages it goes, before they allow you to even consider giving you this. You have to go through the program, the chemo, the radiation. There, they allow me to do it right away. So I said, okay, I'm going to go for it and do it. So it's hard to pronounce the word, but prosthetic. I think it's time she began to go.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And do join them. I can tell you have more questions and we can get time to answer.
Thank you, and I thank everybody else.
You're still on.
Oh, I thank everybody for coming, and I thank Tad and Margaret and David for doing all this for me.
Well, we thank all of you for coming. David?
Let's remind them of something that's coming up next week.
We want you to set your clock which way? Forward. Next Saturday night, so that when you come here next Sunday, you are actually here at the right time. That would be wonderful. Also, we're going to see this wonderful carpentry thing happen here, right? So that should be great. See the set design. Please pick up your coffee cups. We remind you to bring your own if you can. The greener we can go, the better. Stack your chairs. Take your conversations outside the wall so we can clean up as quickly as possible.